Good morning, everyone. This morning, holiday travel is picking up as we head into the holiday weekend. Thanks for joining us at 6 a.m. I'm Chris Groh, in for Eric Connor.
And I'm Neda Iranpour. Glad you're spending this 1st of July with us. It's 6 o'clock in the morning on this Friday. People gearing up for the holiday. And the average price of regular gas, we want to start with that. It may have dropped slightly, again, to $6.23 now, but our state's gas tax, that is going up starting right now.
In fact, CBS 8's Dana Marie McNichol is live in Chollas Creek with a closer look, including a rally that's happening this morning. Dana Marie, what are they saying in advance of that?
Are not happy about this gas tax hike that sees 3 cents per gallon starting today, July 1st. That's why a rally is being held. Volunteers are starting to show up, asking drivers at the pump for their signature to put on a state ballot measure that would help reduce that gas tax in the future.
We think that the gas tax in California is way too high. It's the highest in the country. And in these troubling times, we need to give immediate relief. That's why we're calling for an immediate suspension of the state gas tax. When you add up all of the state gas taxes, which would be the excise tax, cap and trade tax, and the sales tax on each gallon of gas, it's $1.29 effective today per gallon.
So that was Carlo DeMaio, the chairman of Reform California Volunteers, who says this tax hike is coming at a worst possible time for San Diegans. So what's exactly happening today? According to the state's transportation website, the gas tax increases by 5.6%. That takes the current state tax up to 53.9 cents per gallon, which means you'll be paying on average 2.8 cents more per gallon starting today. So why is this gas tax going up? It's all due to Senate Bill 1, which was approved in 2017, which sets an automatic increase every year to incrementally raise the fuel excise tax. While Reform California is angry about this hike and is holding a rally this morning collecting signatures on a state ballot measure petitioning that will block costly gas tax hikes in the future. They're also calling on Governor Gavin Newsom to pull from California's nearly $100 billion surplus by dropping the gas tax by 70 cents. So today they're going to be here this morning asking for those signatures. We're speaking to Carl all morning long, giving us a better insight on why these signatures will make a difference in terms of that state gas tax. The prices here at the ARCO station, $6.39 for regular gallon. That's extremely high, especially as people are traveling over the 4th of July weekend. So stick with us. We'll give you more information in terms of what they're doing here this morning for the rally. I'm Dana Marie McNichol for CBS 8.
All right, Dana Marie, thank you for that update there. Flights are taking off and landing near pre-pandemic levels right now, but airlines are struggling with pilot and other staffing shortages. Also, keep in mind, Terminal 1 at San Diego International Airport is going through that construction, so airport officials are reminding you to plan ahead before you head to the airport. Starting today, Delta and United will begin reducing their summer schedules. Delta is also taking the unusual step of waiving all change fees through Monday. So they're asking people, in fact, if you can change your flight, to please do so and travel not during this holiday weekend.
And right now, there are a number of new state laws that are going into effect right now. So let's take a look at some of the most notable and how they are set to impact you.
So this is a new red flag law that begins today. It allows law enforcement and courts to remove so-called ghost guns from a person who's a danger to themselves or to others. These ghost guns are bought in parts and then assembled at home, making them harder to track.
And a new law is also pushing back school start times. It requires middle schools to start no earlier than 8 a.m. High schools no earlier than 8:30 a.m. The law does exempt rural school districts.
And bartenders in the state and their managers will now have to pay for training. The new law makes training mandatory in an effort to help put a stop to drunk driving. Bartenders hired before July 1st have until August 31st to complete that training. Those who are hired after today have 60 days from their start date to finish. This morning, migrant advocacy groups are calling for a quick end to the Remain in Mexico policy. Now, yesterday, as we were reporting, the Supreme Court ruled the Biden administration can end that program, which has forced immigrants to wait across the border while their claims are pending. A group of advocates that you see right here gathered at Balboa Park to commemorate the more than 70,000 people this policy has impacted.
The message is directly to the Biden administration that his administration needs to take the correct steps to ensure that this is rescinded expeditiously, and that we understand steps going forward for how to ensure that people are able to enter the U.S. if they are seeking asylum, and done so in a humane way.
Yeah, right now, there are so many people waiting in the encampments in Mexico and TJ. In just a few minutes, we'll hear from those migrants who are waiting in Tijuana right now about the Supreme Court's decision. And this morning, the president plans to meet with governors of states where abortion remains legal, like here in California. This comes after the Supreme Court's landmark decision overturning federal abortion rights. Yesterday, President Biden said he would support changing Senate rules to codify abortion rights across the country. Meantime, a Florida judge is blocking a 15-week ban on abortions in that state. And then in Kentucky, a judge temporarily blocked the state's near total ban on abortions.
And the state's eviction moratorium is no longer in place this morning, but there are renter protections still in place in the city of San Diego. And that, of course, is going to include the no-fault moratorium. It applies to renters who are up to date on their rent payments and abiding by the terms of their leases. Landlords are not allowed to kick out tenants for reasons that are not their fault. Examples include making renovations to the unit, moving into the property themselves, and wanting to sell. And this morning, SDG&E is backing off an email sent out to customers who are behind on their bills, warning they could be sent to a collections agency and even have their power cut. We've been working to find out answers for you, and if you receive this email, don't be alarmed. The utility company tells us it received additional money from the state and will not return to pre-pandemic billing policies. There is help available to people who are behind on their bills. We have those details at CBS8.com. Just click on this story. And don't forget, here at CBS 8, we are working for you. So if there is an issue you'd like us to look into, email workingforyou@cbs8.com.
We're working for you in this way this morning, too, highlighting some 4th of July events to help you make those plans. Always a crowd pleaser, as you know, the Big Bay Boom. It will go off from 4 different barges this year in the San Diego Bay. Now, if you want to skip the boom for a buzz, perhaps, you can check out the drone show. That's in Imperial Beach. You see the times right there on your screen here. In El Cajon, you can also head to Kennedy Park. That's where they'll have their fireworks celebration. And, of course, these are just a few of the many events happening all around San Diego County. We have a full list for you on our website, CBS8.com, to hopefully help you out, make those fun plans. Because, it's been a while. A lot of people the past couple years haven't had the chance to experience the full-on 4th of July, and it's going to be on this year. So let's send it over to Evan, because our eyes are on that forecast. Will it be cloudy for the 4th of July?
That's the big question. I don't think we're going to run into much trouble.
Okay.
When you said skip the boom for a buzz, I thought you were going to talk about grabbing some beers. Then I was like, you can do that too. That's also an option. No, it doesn't seem like those clouds are going to be much trouble for us. We have the possibility that maybe a few patchy clouds could join us as we head into your Monday night. But I mean, that Big Bay Boom is incredible to see. And there is not the expectation of a strong marine layer or an expansive marine layer, although this morning it is the way that we are kicking off the day. This is very typical for the early morning hours, but that Big Bay Boom is at 9 p.m. So you've got a pretty decent amount of time just following that sunset to watch those fireworks, and then for that marine layer to redevelop into the overnight hours. Forecast for the day going to take us to the mid-80s along your inland valleys. The coastline is going to be the place to find some relief. Notice that as we make it to the mid-70s today, the mid-80s inland, we are cooler today than what we've seen for the last several days. We started cooling on about Wednesday, but we are going to keep the cool down going and still encounter some pretty warm temperatures by the afternoon. So although we are on this cooling trend, we are still going to stay relatively warm all the way through your weekend. Each day between now and Monday, your 4th of July itself, temperatures will drop very incrementally. So here are your forecast highs for today: 75 in San Diego, 77 for National City, 79 in San Ysidro off toward the South Bay. Taking a look at what happens once you head farther north. You see Oceanside is making its way to 75 this afternoon. Fallbrook 82 I should say, and 86 for Escondido. When you head over the mountains and deserts, it's going to remain pretty hot. Borrego Springs, Ocotillo Wells easily easily breaking into the triple digits for this afternoon and for many afternoons to come. So there's that drop in temperatures with a trough of low pressure sinking in. And although those temperatures make their way all the way down to 83, that is below average. Still going to be pretty warm out there. An 83-degree high is one that should still be celebrated nonetheless. We start to see those temperatures climb following the 4th of July on Tuesday. Ridge of high pressure will build and it'll bring those temperatures back up for the middle and later portion of next week. We've been checking in on the roads this morning. It has been mellow, mellow, mellow. Nothing going on the roads. You can see how there's some construction symbols there. I'll take you to the Coronado Bridge area. Seeing some slightly slower speeds about mid-span off toward Coronado. Many people headed toward the base, but beyond that, this is going to be the time to get out and get that morning commute underway or start your travel plans for the weekend, as this will be the time that you won't run into any traffic on the roads. As soon as you hit the about 7, 8 and beyond hours, well, hey, all bets are off. That's when you're going to be bumper to bumper, guys.